Welcome to Bushy Park, Barbados and the Williams Industries International Race Meet, where round 3 of the Suzuki Challenge Series runs alongside the Seaboard Marine Caribbean Motor Racing Championship, bringing fresh faces and new cars to race on the 2.01 kilometre circuit. With 5 race wins between them, Suleiman Issouf and Stuart Maloney are making the SR3 Cup look like a 2-horse race. But Mark Maloney, who won the first race of the season, is not finished yet. It's even closer in the Swift Cup, where just 4 points separate leader Barry Gale and former champion Ryan Perot. Early leader Josh Reed and reigning champion Ryan Wood are the other winners so far. Welcome back. Former Barbados Rally Club champion driver Rhett Watson was the surprised Swift Cup pole sitter, standing in for Martinique's Pascal Calvel. He was joined on the front by Ryan Perot, with Ryan Wood and points leader Barry Gale on row 2. Justin Campbell and newcomer Justin Maloney started on row 3, ahead of Josh Reed and Snapper Husbands, who had missed qualifying.
And they're also off. And so who's going to make a good start? Well, Ryan Perot is trying to see if he can't get alongside pole sitter Rhett Watson, but that is not to be. And so down into the kink and the hammer they go for the first time. A glance at the, thank you very much, Merville Lynch screen here shows that Josh Reed managed to squeeze past Justin Maloney as they went through the hammer, but Maloney's doing a good job at the moment of keeping Snapper Husbands behind him. And Justin Campbell squeezing alongside championship leader Barry Gale and moving up into 4th place in the Team Rockhard cement car, down into the Dipper and the Bullet for the first time. Barry Gale trying to fight back around the outside on the way into the Dipper, and it worked because he did the undercut on the way out, getting alongside Justin Campbell once again. Joker lap for Ryan Wood and Justin Campbell on the opening lap, and for Justin Maloney as well. I think they're a little bit over-enthusiastic for Justin over the bridge. Got a little bit more air than I think he anticipated, but he has rejoined comfortably at the tail end of the field. Is Rhett Watson going to be able to take the Joker, which you have to do quite carefully because there are penalties to be had if you hit the Tech Pro on the way onto or on the way off the bridge? Yes, he does. It has worked. He held fast until the final lap and has managed to take his Joker without losing a place. So the checkered flag is for Rhett Watson of Team Suzuki, with Ryan Perot coming home in 2nd place, Barry Gale in 3rd.
So Rhett Watson becomes Swift Cup race winner number 12. While Ryan Perot's 2nd place finish cuts Barry Gale's championship lead to just 1 point. No pressure then, Barry.
Rhett Watson is quick. I tried in the first 2 laps to give him a pass. It was a little bit tight, so didn't give him much room. I had to back off. But I held him as much as I can for the entire race. Just he have that slightly edge of pace today, but that's all part of racing.
I was trying to keep up with Ryan because obviously Ryan and I are fighting for the championship. I had Woody down behind me, and then Justin came up behind Woody and started to distract him, so I had a little bit of breathing room. But no matter what I did, I couldn't keep up.
The first lap was a bit nervous, made a few mistakes. Ryan Perot got right up with me, and then I just told myself, settle, 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 and eventually just made a little gap, maintained it, and brought it home.
Brilliant driving, brother. Brilliant driving.
A flying return trip to the Caribbean between rounds of the UK Radical Championship for former CMRC champion Guyana's Christian Jeffrey was rewarded with a new SR3 qualifying record of 58.318 seconds. Next up were Mark and Stuart Maloney, who also clocked personal best qualifying times, with Sean Maloney 4th, ahead of Sol Issouf and Ryan Gonzalez of St Vincent and the Grenadine.
Nose to tail already as they go down towards Shaq Christian Jeffrey from Mark Maloney, and down towards the W's for the first time. Christian Jeffrey hoping to make good and escape in the early stages of what will be a 10-lap SR3 Cup race. Over Millbrow he goes down towards the Dipper and the Bullet for the first time. Everybody bunches up as they break for the inner hairpin, and then it's uphill once again past the mill, one of the relics of the 1970s circuit, retained and rebuilt as a hospitality suite. Down through Seashas Hairpin they all cleanly go, and the Maloney brothers are battling and side by side as they go across the line, with Sean fractionally ahead of Stewart, but they're still side by side as they go down into the kink and the hammer. Sol now beginning to start thinking about what he can do to find a way past at least one of the Maloneys directly ahead of him. He's closed right up, he's right under the wing. Is he going to challenge going to the Seasash hairpin and try and find a way past Shaw? Well, he thought about it but didn't quite. Gap has come down. New lap record for Mark Maloney, 58.113. Over Millbrow, past the hospitality suite, under braking or slightly less braking. Mark Maloney closes right up on Christian Jeffrey once again, but the young Guyanese driver seems to have his measure towards the back cesses again. Mark Maloney really putting Christian Jeffrey under pressure now, trying to force a mistake from the race leader, but I don't think that is going to happen unless he can get huge momentum out of the final corner, which he can't. Christian Jeffrey wins our first SR3 Cup race of the day, his 5th race win here at Bushy Park, Barbados this year.
His hot pursuit of the winner earned Mark Maloney a new outright lap record. SR3s, the fastest cars that race at Bushy Park, while Stuart Maloney's 3rd place cut Solisov's advantage from 8 to 3 points.
Pace is hot. Christian is hot off the Radical UK series, so he's the boy in charge and he's done every event in the UK, and hats off to him. It shows what seat time and putting the effort into it does, and next race is reverse grid, so we'll see what happens.
Basically after the Winter Cup here in Bushy Park, I got invited up by the Radical guys to try out the season, and it ended up being an entire season, so it was phenomenal. So as you can see, the competition right here today is stiff right now. Mark just broke the lap record, and I think every lap in that race was lower than 58.5, so that's the tire the game has been upped, and we have a good field right here as well.
I have been crazy, but that's just alright. Alright, my feelings I don't hide them from me. Not, alright. Come and get it if you're ready, darling. Come and get it if you're ready, ready. Come and get it if you're ready, let's go it. Come and get it if you're ready, let's do it.
Welcome back to Bushy Park and round 3 of the Suzuki Challenge Series. The grid for Swift Cup Race 2 is based on qualifying times reversed, which places newcomer Justin Maloney on pole with Justin Campbell alongside. Barry Gale and Ryan Wood start on row 2, with Ryan Perot and first race winner Rhett Watson on row 3. They're ahead of Josh Reed and Snapper Husbands, still at the back after missing qualifying.
Squealing tyres and wheel spin, and Justin Campbell determined to make the best of the start from second on the grid, as alongside Justin Maloney as they go down towards the hammer for the first time, and indeed is ahead. So it is Justin Campbell who leads from Justin Maloney. And in 3rd place Barry Gale, 4th is Ryan Wood, 5th is Ryan Perot, 6th is Rhett Watson, 7th is Josh Reed, and 8th is Snapper Husbands. So 8 laps once again for the Swift Cup, down into the W's for the first time. All still very bunched up. Woody in the maroon car was just looking to see whether there was a way past Barry Gale. Decided that there wasn't, not least because he's got Ryan Perot right up his chuff. So they break in a very, very neat line for the Dipper for the first time. Anybody taking the Joker on lap 1? Yes, the wily old Woody is doing that, as is Josh Reed, as is Snapper Husbands. They rejoin at the tail end of the field, but they've now done their joking thing. So that might pay off for them towards the end of the race. Justin Campbell leads at the end of the opening lap. Down into the W's for the second time. Justin Maloney is a little bit wider than he would wish to be, and he has been passed by Barry Gale, and is also being challenged on the exit of the W's by Ryan Perot. They're side by side as they head now downhill into the braking area for the Dipper. Justin Maloney fights back and is holding his own very well against the very experienced Ryan Perot. However, Perot carries more momentum out of the Bullet and manages to ease ahead of Justin Maloney, as does under braking, if indeed he did, for the Banks S's, does Rhett Watson in the blue Suzuki car. Woody is now challenging the white car of Justin Maloney as well, and may well be able to get ahead by the time they exit the Coxbear Cyclone, which he does. They're back at the Dipper and the Bullet already with Justin Campbell. He won't be taking the Joker this time. Ryan Perot is trying to turn his Suzuki Swift into a lawnmower. It doesn't work, other than the fact that because he was going slower, like lawnmowers do, Rhett Watson got past him and up into second place. Not quite sure what R. Perot-esque was doing at that point, because he's not one prone to making mistakes by and large. So Rhett is now third, having won the earlier race. Gap from first to second was 1.5 seconds. It is now 1.1. Side by side, Josh Reed on the outside, Woody on the inside as they reach the Dipper. Over the Rallycross Bridge goes the Rock Hard Cement team entry of Justin Campbell. He doesn't run quite as wide as Ryan Perot did on his return to the circuit. Perot looking to challenge Rhett Watson, unsteady, the less experienced Suzuki Swift Cup campaigner, but it doesn't work. Rhett's got all his wits about him. Checkered flag then for the first time in the Swift Cup for Justin Campbell, winning by a margin of 2.197 seconds.
So Justin Campbell becomes the second new Swift Cup winner of the day, raising the total to 13, while the pendulum swings back in Gale's favour. Second trumps fourth by 6 points, so he now leads Perot by 7.
I guess I had the advantage because I was on the inside. So Woody did what Woody does best. He uses all the tactics in the world. He got off his start line, he came straight across the defended line, right? But I got a good start, so I was already there with him. And we went into the hammer together, into the next corner, the shot together, and then obviously because I had the inside, he had to give away because otherwise he would have been in trouble.
Today is definitely not my day. Just not getting in the car to do what I wanted to do under me, and you know, every day is racing day, but every day is not winning, you know.
So reverse grid from the first race, started I think 6th or 7th. First lap, 2 cars, you know, everyone's shuffling around. Managed to get past Justin Maloney pretty quickly, and then hunted down Barry Gale for second place, but just couldn't get close enough.
It was a fantastic race. I had some advice from my brother. If you get the lead, don't take your joke of that to the end. And that's exactly what I did. It felt like the longest race in my life. But no, I feel very happy about that, and also to get rock hard on the podium as well, and also in the first. Again, best quality by far. That's what we are.
With qualifying times reversed, Ryan Gonzalez sits on pole for the second SR3 Cup race, with points leader Issouf alongside, eager to extend his advantage over Stuart Maloney, who sits on row 2 with his brother Sean. The weekend's record breakers Mark Maloney and Christian Jeffrey bring up the rear.
Issouf makes an extremely good start, so indeed does Kevin Jeffrey, who is already trying to get alongside at least one of the Maloney brothers who started in the middle of the grid as they get through the pink and the hammer. They come out with Ryan Gonzalez under extreme pressure for his second place, but Issouf trying to break away from the rest of the field before the rest of them come down to the second place at the moment. Mark Maloney down at the tail end of the field, following Christian Jeffrey, getting side by side with Christian Jeffrey as they go into the dipper. They're all very, very bunched up. All of this is working hugely to the benefit of Sol Isuf, who is already clear by about 10 lengths or so through the CSAS Hairpin. He goes 10 laps of this second SR3 Cup race of the day out of Oxbow Cyclone. They come to the end of the first lap. Brian Gonzalez runs rather wide. He kicks up some dust. The advantage that Sol Isuf's got at the end of lap 1 is 2.61 seconds. Second, Stuart and Sean Maloney are third and fourth. Christian Jeffrey and Mark Maloney. What has happened to Mark Maloney? He's disappeared. I do not see where he has gone. That must have happened at the Hammer.
I was being patient, kind of just trying to find my way through the traffic, and then touched the grass going down the straight there and spun. But that's unfortunate. Just trying to be a little too aggressive, I guess, too early. So that happened.
Sean Maloney defending, and Christian Jeffrey dives along the inside of Sean Maloney going into the W's and gets through. Now, is he going to be able to make the manoeuvre stick? I think Sean ran a little bit wide as well on the exit. I saw a puff of Marl come up from the curbing, where Christian Jeffrey's going to run wide on the exit of the Bullet, and that allows Sean Maloney to get alongside, and they're side by side as they go down towards the Banks S's. There's one more lap to go after this one. Christian Jeffrey's through just before the Banks S's, but Sean will surely fight back as the final lap pans out. Already onto that final lap has gone Sol Isuf, his advantage 5.0 seconds. Stuart Maloney again confirming the fact that really he is the closest challenger to Sol Isuf. What's going to happen with the battling duo? Is Christian Jeffrey going to edge away from Sean Maloney? I think the answer to that question is sort of yes, he is, but I don't reckon he's going to catch Stuart now with only half or so of the lap to go. So this will help Sol Isuf, his championship advantage will come down from 8 to 3 points. It will now increase to whatever 3 times 7 is, 10, as a result of this win, with Stuart in second place. I do have trouble with maths sometimes. It's an age thing. Down to the final corner, the Cockspur Cyclone. Sol Isuf will see a checkered flag and will breathe a sigh of relief because he's managed to open the advantage over the chasing Stuart Maloney once again, who nearly backed off a tad too early.
The championship roller coaster continues. Victory for Sol Isuf, extending his advantage to 10 points once again over Stuart Maloney. Christian Jeffrey's again in the mix, claiming the fastest lap this time round.
I haven't seen Bushy Park like this in forever, in like the 90s. Bushy Park is just off the hook today.
My goal was to just try to get away from the pack and hope to maintain some type of lead because my car wasn't feeling handling the best. But it worked, my game plan worked out. I'm happy with the results so far.
Got a head, you should use it. Climb over the walls, break down all the doors when your future calls. Don't let nothing hold you down, nothing hold you down, Don't let nothing hold you down.
Welcome back to the final part of our coverage of round 3 of the Suzuki Challenge Series. With the final grid based on points scored earlier, race winners Rhett Watson and Justin Campbell start on the front row, title contenders Barry Gale and Ryan Perot on row 2. Ryan Wood and Josh Reed start from row 3, ahead of Snapper Husbands and Justin Maloney.
Out they go, oodles of wheel spin. Lots of rubber being painted all over the place, and Rhett Watson makes a very clean start. Justin Campbell tucks in behind him. They go down into the kink and the hammer for the first time. Ooh, Woody gets a little bit out of shape there. Josh Reed runs extremely wide, but he's still on the circuit down there in 6th place, but it's Rhett Watson who leads in the early stages. But no, Justin Maloney is challenging Snapper as they reach the Ws. They're side by side as they exit and go over Milbrow. I can hardly see the Justin Maloney car. He was so evenly matched with Snapper as they came up the initial part of there, and Barry Gale is on the inside of Justin Campbell, and Ryan Perot is trying to get on the inside of Barry Gale as well. Why don't you put all three black cars in the same place on the circuit together? That would work. Woody and Snapper are the drivers who decide to take the Joker on this opening lap, and will rejoin at the tail end of the field, tucking in there behind Justin Maloney. So Snapper, Justin Campbell, Barry Gale, Ryan Perot. There goes Ryan Perot over the Joker. Will he come out behind Barry Gale? He's really pressing on over the bridge. He's going to try and come out ahead of Barry Gale, and he's going to get alongside Barry Gale as they get into the CSASH hairpin, and if he doesn't run too wide on the exit of that, Ryan Perot has just pulled off one of the neatest tricks I've seen in the Swift Cup, because he's taken his Joker and he's ahead of Barry Gale, which is where he wants to be. There goes Rhett now. Don't clip the Tech Pro because you'll get penalised if you do that. Perhaps I should have said that earlier then, but then he probably couldn't have heard me anyway. So Rhett Watson in the Team Suzuki car emerges ahead of Justin Campbell. Racing in this championship at the moment. Rhett is doing his very best to try and make his Suzuki jolly wide, but it's not going to be wide enough to prevent Justin Campbell getting alongside as they come through the final turn of the penultimate lap. The last lap board is being shown. When you're side by side with somebody like that, do you notice the last lap board? Perhaps you do, perhaps you don't. Side by side, Justin Campbell on the inside as they get to the hammer. He manages to hold on to the advantage. There was a bit of contact on the exit of the hammer, but he's still there. So Justin Campbell leads. Second is now Rhett Watson. Third is Ryan Perot. Fourth is championship leader Barry Gale. Fifth is Woody. Sixth is Josh Reed. Seventh is Justin Maloney. And eighth is Snapper Husbands, and the Team Williams Industries car into the Ws. They go for the final time. Now, has Rhett learned a little bit from that lap that might give him an idea of how to get that place back? They go over Milbrow. Justin Campbell trying to ease some extra advantage. He's trying to open up a little bit more space on the tarmac, but Rhett tries to turn in tighter, get a tighter exit. It doesn't work. He's still there, right tucked into the tailgate of the black Swift. He closes right up, less than a length, less than a foot between them as they go through the Banks S's. Rhett looks at the inside of the CSASH hairpin. That ain't going to work. Is he going to be able to find a way past? Added to which he's now got Ryan Perot creeping out behind him. If there was another couple of laps, I'd put Perot down as a potential winner of this race, but it is Justin Campbell who crosses the line ahead of Rhett Watson, Ryan Perot and Barry Gale. So Justin Campbell, twice a winner in the Swift Cup today. Well done.
As it turned out, Justin Campbell didn't need to work quite so hard on the last couple of laps, as Rhett Watson's Joker lap penalty dropped him to last. The gap between title contenders Perot and Gale has closed once again.
Man, it's good sport. I didn't come out here with any expectations really, but I get into the groove of things, and I happy with the performance I put in this weekend. So next time I come in out, I looking for the pole.
From the word go, Justin was right there. I couldn't shake him for nothing. And he put a pass on me coming onto the straight that I had to give him the room. He was there.
It was very competitive. It was clean at one point. We came on straight together. I thought we were going to rub, but he kept his line and kept my line. We carried right down to I actually thought he was going to win the race. I took the joke a lot, but I didn't give up. I just focused on the car in front of me in the blue car, and I caught him and passed him.
As points scored earlier today decide the order for the Race 3 grid, Christian Jeffries win and third place see him back on pole, with the championship protagonists Solly Suff and Stuart Maloney starting second and third. Sean Maloney completes row 2, with Mark Maloney and Ryan Gonzalez starting on row 3.
Out they go. Good start from both front row men. Indeed, good start from the whole field. Ryan Gonzalez particularly trying to get ahead of Mark Maloney as they go down into the pink and the hammer. It doesn't work. Mark Maloney asserts himself and gets ahead of Gonzalez just as they turn into the hammer. They scream through the right and left flick onto the pit straight and down into the Ws for the first time in this 10 lap of Mark Maloney, having picked up one further place as well, having eased past his brother Sean on his favourite overtaking spot on the circuit down the inside of the W's. Christian Jeffrey is in command at the moment from Solisa, then Stuart Maloney, then Mark, then Sean, then Ryan Gonzalez at the tail of the field into the Banks S's draft. Get round here quickly. And the C/hairpin and on to Coxbow Cyclone into the end of the opening lap. Everybody except Stuart Maloney has got a 10-second jump start penalty. So Stuart Maloney may appear to you to be third, but actually he's leading. Christian Jeffrey is second, another fastest lap for Christian, 58.572. So Stuart Maloney has the only non-penalised car at the moment. Penultimate lap, the start line marshal is already preparing his last lap board. And Mark Maloney dives along the inside of Stewart. There is some contact there. That's the 10 seconds, and that's taken Stuart Maloney. It hasn't taken him out of the race. He's back in. Where's Brother Mark? Brother Mark's going to the Sol Hospitality Suite for a quick cup of tea before rejoining just behind Ryan Gonzalez. And I think that is going to be enough for Stewart being the only unpenalised driver out there not to hold on to the advantage that he had at the head of this race. But an unfortunate incident there, clearly no malice intended, but that was sufficient to remove the advantage that not being penalised for a jump start had bestowed upon Stewart. However, he still finishes ahead of Sol Isuf. Well, let's see whether he does. At the moment he is ahead of Sol, so that still means the championship is very close at the top indeed. There goes Christian Jeffrey taking the checkered flag at the end of the 10 laps, 4.3 seconds ahead of Sol Isuf. But are we going to see Stuart Maloney come through and be shown in second place? Yes, we are, 3.6 seconds behind Christian Jeffrey. After the race, both Sol Isuf and Christian Jeffrey appealed the penalty. Isuf successfully. He therefore claimed the win from Jeffrey, with Stuart Maloney third, increasing Isuf's advantage in the standings.
Thanks to Busy Williams and Williams Industries and Seaboard, they've made all of this possible. We're happy with the crowd that we have here today. You know, the racing is awesome. Every group has a competitive feel. My driver of the day so far, the day hasn't finished, but even without the day finishing, Tremaine Ford Catwell has driven like a mature man. If he's going to be defending Barbados in the years to come, you know, I'll get out of the car and watch more because the boy is driving very well.
Sol Isuf now leads the SR3 Cup by 20 points from Stuart Maloney, while Sean Maloney has closed to within just 4 points of brother Mark in what has now become a fight for third place. In the Swift Cup, Barry Gale and Trinidad and Tobago's Ryan Perot end the day as they started, separated by the same 4 points. Thanks to his 2 race wins, however, Justin Campbell has moved within striking distance with just 1 round to go. Bushy Park Barbados and BPMSI, the organising club, had much to celebrate at the Williams Industries International prize giving, as drivers and riders from all the competing countries collected their share of more than 100 trophies. For the first time in his brief Swift Cup career, Justin Campbell stood on top of the podium, with title contenders Ryan Perot and Barry Gale to his left and right. In the SR3 Cup, the top 3 collected their trophies in reverse order: Stuart Maloney, Christian Jeffrey and Sol Isuf.